Is it advice or advise? Does the spelling even matter? Hey everybody, my name is Alisha. What's the difference between advice and advise, and when should you use them? Let's take a look. Let's start with the word advice. Advice is a noun. It has about the same meaning as guidance. It's something someone else tells you that you should or should not do. Here are some examples in a sentence. My roommate always gives me really good advice about my relationships. A guy I met in a bar was giving everyone terrible investment advice. Your restaurant advice was great. I had a great time at the place you told me about. Basically, think of advice as meaning a personal recommendation. We tend to use advice to talk about interpersonal issues and topics that are rather intimate, more often than recommendation though. So if you want to talk with someone about your relationships, a challenge at work, or another personal topic, advice is probably a good choice for describing that discussion. Recommendation tends to be used a bit more when we don't have such a close connection to the other person. For example, if a waiter tells you about a dish he thinks is really good at a restaurant, he might say it's his recommendation in a sentence like, "My recommendation is this dish." While some waiters might choose to use advice in a sentence like, "My advice is to get this dish," it can sound a little more personal than recommendation. But again, a good way to think about advice is that it means personal guidance. Advice can also be used in more serious situations to refer to personal guidance too. With that in mind, let's look at advise. The S in this word sounds like a Z when speaking. Advise is a verb. It means to give someone guidance. Here are a couple of examples. I advise you not to speak with the clients until next week. Her lawyers advised her to lay low until the trial was over. In these sentences, we're talking about situations in which someone receives or gives guidance, but we're just using a verb to express the idea instead of a noun. We tend to use advise in situations that are a little more serious or important sounding than just simple personal recommendations. These examples are from business and legal situations. While it's not incorrect to use the verb advise in a more casual situation, typically we use other expressions like you should or you should not instead of advise, which can sound a little too formal. For example, if you want a friend to try a dessert you made, it would sound much more friendly and natural to say, "You should try this." If you said, "I advise you to try this," it would sound really formal and strange. As you can see, the spelling and part of speech are different between these two words. If it's difficult for you to remember which spelling is the noun form and which is the verb form, here's a quick mnemonic. I see you give good recommendations and advice. The key here is that both recommendations and advice are used in their noun forms. The C refers to the C spelling of the noun form. As always, this is a silly little phrase, but these silly little phrases come in handy sometimes. Let's finish this quick video with one more note about a related word, advisor. Advisor is a noun. It means a person who gives advice, essentially. But we don't really use this to talk about our friends or family members unless we're trying to make a joke. This is used a lot in political and business situations. Someone who provides a lot of very serious and important recommendations might have the title of advisor. For example, someone who gives you advice about how to spend or save your money is called a financial advisor. The spelling of advisor follows the spelling the verb advise takes. We use an S, not a C here. It's not an advisor, but an advisor, one who advises. Okay, great. That's all for this quick video. Now you can go out and give lots of advice about how to use these words to your friends. Of course, if this video was helpful for you, you can help me by hitting the like button and sharing this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the English Writing Tips channel for more writing, punctuation, spelling tips, and more. Thanks very much for watching this video, and I will see you again soon. Bye! I advise you to watch all of this video. My advice is that you subscribe to this channel.